You'll want to start saving those party-sized takeout containers when you see how easily they can help enhance your garden. I'm gathering 2 larger and 2 smaller party trays, then removing the lids. The trays are being dry fit on the ground of a small container vegetable garden where I think they will be perfect. I'm pouring a little olive oil into each pan, then spreading it around using some paper until the bottoms and a little along the sides are well coated. Reaching for some bagged concrete that dries overnight, I'm shoveling some into a 5-gallon bucket, then mixing it with water until I reach a thick pudding consistency. You'll want to be sure to wear eye, mouth, and hand protection for this step. You'll also want to be diligent to rinse the concrete off the tools in between using them so the concrete doesn't harden on them. I'm now adding some mixed concrete into the smaller trays, filling them up until they are full, then leveling the concrete with a small trowel. Next up, I'm mixing a larger batch of concrete to add to the larger trays, filling them up at least 2 to 3 inches thick, then troweling them smooth as well. In hindsight, I think a slightly wetter mix leaves you with a smoother finish when they are done. I am leaving the trays outdoors overnight to cure. The next day, the concrete looks really dry, so I'm testing a form by pulling away the sides to check. It looks good. I'm now removing all the trays by gently pulling on the sides of each tray, then flipping each concrete slab on top of my hand while gently setting them down onto some cardboard to protect them. I'm now brushing off any loose concrete that may be remaining while admiring all those impressive edge details. I also noticed that none of the trays cracked during removal, which means they are reusable if you wish to make more to match. Now each concrete stone is being positioned in the vegetable garden, then shuffled around until I decide exactly where I want each one to go. Once positioned, I'm placing a carpenter's level on top of each stone, then leveling them by scooping some soil underneath. And I am now the proud owner of a custom stepping stone garden path I can use to navigate right through my vegetable garden without stepping on any soil. More times than not, I'm generally barefoot when I check in on the garden, so this will come in handy keeping my feet much cleaner. However, it also keeps shoes cleaner too, especially when it happens to be raining. The stones are positioned perfectly and comfortably so I don't have to make an effort to reach each one. I think the shapes make the garden look even more quaint and unique, so much more than simple round or square that you buy at stores. I hope this inspires you to consider collecting a few party trays to try making a few of your own stepping stones since they are so easy to make.
Grab some marbles from the Dollar Tree. Use a foil pie pan and line or cover the inside with parchment paper. Next, fill a bowl with concrete mix, add water, and stir until everything is combined. Then pour the concrete mix into the lined foil pan. And continue to add concrete mix until you get the height that you want. Then start adding and placing marbles and colorful tiles on top of the concrete mix. Allow the stone to set and remove the parchment paper. And that's it. I hope this inspires you to create some Dollar Tree gem stepping stones for your outdoor space.
I grabbed some china plates from the thrift store for this really easy garden project. Okay, this was the really fun part. I smashed the plates on a rock and then I set them all aside. Next, I mixed ready-mix concrete with water. For specific measurements and safety precautions, follow the instructions on the bag. I placed a 2-inch piece of cardboard tube on top of scrap wood to use as my mold, and then I put the first layer of concrete inside. I used a scrap 2x4 to tamper it down and added 3 small pieces of wire mesh. The wire mesh will add a lot of strength to this. I put another layer of concrete on, used the wood to tamper, and trowel to smooth it out. Once it was smooth and level, I placed the broken china on top. You can have a lot of fun with this part and do any sort of design. I used a scrap piece of wood again to tamper it down, making sure that the china was inset but not sunk in. Then I used a wet sponge to carefully remove the excess concrete. I wiped with the sponge a few times over the next couple of hours. After it dried for about 20 hours, I removed the cardboard around the outside and placed it in the garden for a beautiful stepping stone. I hope this inspired you to create your own thrifted china stepping stone.
We're gonna mix up cement as per instructions and then we're gonna add it to our mold. I'm using for the mold this bucket that I previously sprayed with oil. leave it to dry. So I waited for 24 hours and now the cement is ready to come out. And look at this. Oops, because we put the olive oil inside, or avocado oil, whatever, it came out so easily. So I have this paint, it's from Behr, and it's a color sample that I got a while back. It's called, the color called Park Picnic, and this is the exterior paint, so it's meant to be outside. I really hope that it's gonna hold up. I'm pretty sure it will, but let's get started painting. Okay, we got the green in. And yeah, do you wanna guess what I'm trying to paint here? It has to do something with summer. And next color will be red, and this is the Top Tomato by Behr, also a sample. Since I had a bit of a bubbles, I'm trying to put the paint inside the bubbles too, so it's not very visible from the outside. But I guess it doesn't really matter that much, since it's gonna be stepping stones and kids gonna be stepping on it. I let the watermelon dry for a little bit, but since I didn't have black paint, exterior paint, but I had the purple one, so I decided to do the seeds with the purple paint, because you probably guessed it already, I'm making watermelon. Yay! So now I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'm gonna make a couple of more other fruits, and I'm gonna show it to my kids. Can't wait for their reaction.
I came across these adorable plastic garden fences at my local dollar store. To begin my project, I took some wire cutters and I cut apart the plastic fence, removing the butterfly portions from the middle. I also picked up some aluminum pie plates for this project, and I'm going to begin mixing up some plaster of Paris. I mixed my plaster of Paris according to the instructions on the packaging, making sure that I mix it very well so that there are no lumps and bumps in the mixture. Once I had it fully mixed, I prepared my pie plate by spreading some cooking oil on a piece of paper towel and rubbing it all on the inside of the plate. Then I poured in my plaster of Paris, and then I picked up the pie plate and shook it around and tapped it on the table just to remove any air bubbles. Next, I took my butterfly pieces and I placed them in the middle of the plaster of Paris mixture, making sure to apply a little bit of pressure and push them down into the mixture so that it comes up through the butterfly wings. I continued doing this with different pieces of the plastic fence to give me different designs and different elements. And to take my project a step further, I used the end of a paintbrush to write out the word welcome in the plaster of Paris on one of them. So I just drew it out with the end of the paintbrush, wiping it off in between, and then add a little flourish. Then I let these set overnight, and then since the cooking oil was in there, they slid out perfectly out of the pie plates. I used my hands just to wipe away any extra plaster of Paris on the front of the stones. I also decided that the welcome needed to pop a little bit, so I came in with a paint marker and I actually just filled in the lines and the divots as well. I left my butterfly pieces in the plaster of Paris, but if you wanted a different look, a more streamlined look, you could take the butterfly pieces out and have just the concrete look. But I actually like the contrast of the dark against the light stone. So once this was all done and they were all set, I took them out to my garden, and here they are, just creating a unique little stepping stone path. This is just a easy idea that you can do with some plastic garden fences from the dollar store. Feel free to get creative with this project. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on another video.